holding you back? Holding you back from touching the sky? What's holding you back? You gotta fly like an eagle and go high. What's holding you back? Holding you back from touching the sky? Oh, holding you back. You finally gotta reach for the sky. I was born to succeed, not to be a spoke in the wheel. Told myself there's more to this than just waking up when I feel. So I made a commitment to turn my earnings up. Couldn't see myself as an employee that still couldn't. Looked in the mirror, saw a spark in my eye. Knew I had to hustle and stop living a lie. I packed my dreams in a suitcase, took the first train. I'm headed for the horizon with success is no doubt.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of What's Holding You Back. My name is Rob McCray from the Business Building Network, and it is such a joy and a privilege to have the opportunity to come before you one more time for another edition of What's Holding You Back. We're still awaiting our co-host for this evening, the one and only Christine Allen from Clear Ambitions. She is having some technical issues, but as soon as she gets those things straightened out, she will be joining us in just a few. But we are so glad to have each and every one of you on board with us this evening, as I can see the comments coming in the chat. So thank you so much for staying with us, and we once again apologize for the delay and get started this evening. But I can see that you are all very excited to hear from our very special guest, which is the one and only Dr. Lee. And it's going to be an amazing time, and it's going to be well worth your wait. So before we get into our having our guests come out for this evening, we're going to do a couple of things as we ordinarily do here on What's Holding You Back. And the first thing that I would like to state is the reason and why we bring forth these broadcasts every Wednesday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channels. So the reason for these broadcasts is we want to make sure that you are inspired, you are empowered, and you are enlightened on the things that are going to help you in creating the best possible version of your life for yourself. So that is the main focal point of this broadcast and why we are coming before you every Wednesday. And for those of you that inspire to have a business for yourself or have already started a business for yourself, we're going to be doing more conversations and discussions and laying out some different business strategies and techniques that you should be implementing into your businesses to get you the best possible results. So that is the main focal point of these broadcasts and what we're going to be doing going forward in 2025. So I'm just grateful to have each and every one of you here with us. And for many of us, it is the first time seeing each other for the new year. So Happy New Year to you all. And I hope that 2025 has started off on the right foot and we are steadily making progress and getting greater results. So let me just send out a couple of well wishes and greetings as I see the chat is just blowing up. We have my sis, the number one cheerleader, Elevate with Vern. God bless you, sis. Thank you so much for always supporting and being a part of this movement. We also have, my pastor, Pastor Fred Pinnock. God bless you, sir, and thank you so much for joining us. And we have Sister Tish from her clothing line, Godwear. I'm sorry, my apologies. Sister Tish and her husband, Brother Todd Hatchett from Godwear Inspirational Communications. They have a beautiful clothing line which sends out an inspirational message through their clothing apparel. So I give greetings unto them. And we have, my sis, Tina Thomas, who is out in, now she's down in Georgia, formerly from New Jersey. And I made a special request to her to be on this broadcast this evening. I want to try and make a connection with our guest, Dr. Lee, because they do some of the same things. Tina Thomas has her Loving Arms Foundation, which she started here in New Jersey, and now she is doing those same works there in Georgia. So I feel that that would be a great connection for the both of you young ladies. All right. So if we have any, we have Dr. I hope I pronounce your name correctly, Dr. Lanicha, the Connect Her. Greetings and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have my sister Jody, set for life. Good to see you, sis. So much. Yes, thank you so much. And we also have my sis Caroline Graham. Thank you for joining us. So good to have you with us. Yes, if I missed you, please put a message in the chat. I would love to acknowledge you and welcome to the live this evening. So we're going to have a phenomenal time here this evening as we prepare to bring out our guest for this evening, as she has been doing a great amount of works throughout her community and abroad, and we're going to bring her out in just a few minutes. All right, I see we have Sister Eveline Alexander. Greetings. Thank you so much for joining us. And okay, yes, I think that's it there. So yes, if I missed you, please put something in the chat and I will give you a shout out and welcome you to the live. So as it is customary for us to do here on What's Holding You Back, we also like to share a word of inspiration. So our word of inspiration for today comes from none other than the late, great Nelson Mandela. And his quote is, "Our children are our greatest treasure. They are indeed our future, and those who abuse them tear at the fabric of our society and weaken our nation." Wow. Powerful, powerful quote, and oh so true, because we all know that, yes, the children are indeed our future, and how we raise our children and instill those greater values and qualities into them is how they're going to come up and start to put out those same things in their life when they come to be adults. So we have to make sure that we're properly nourishing them and teaching them the right way in which to live their lives with a greater moral compass. Greetings, Sister Deb. Thank you. So good to have you with us. And greetings to Caleb Felder. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you. Good to have you with us as well. So yes, that is our quote, our inspirational quote for today from the late, great Nelson Mandela. Yes. All right. So with that being said, that has laid the framework for our guests for this evening. And she is one that is a community advocate, especially for our children. And so that's why that quote there was so appropriate for our guests, in which we're going to be bringing on board this evening. And she is none other than Dr. Tahira Lee of Hope Enterprises, Inc. And she is also known as the Real Hope Doctor. So Dr. Tahira Lee, widely known as the Real Hope Doctor, is a trailblazer for the youth and community advocate. She is a dynamic TEDx speaker and influential member of both the Forbes Council and the CEO Chicks Network. And as the CEO and co-founder of Hope Enterprises, Inc., Dr. Lee has dedicated her life to fostering health, opportunity, prevention, and empowerment within communities. Her extensive experience, combined with her personal commitment to family and community, has made her a respected leader and a true role model. So please put your emojis together and help me welcome our guest for this evening, the one and only Dr. Tahira Lee. Good evening, sis. How are you this evening? Don't forget to unmute your mic.
I was gonna say thank you for the reminder because I'm getting up there. So
We all are. We all are. So good to have you, my sis.
thank
So
you
how
so
are
much
you?
for having me. What an eloquent introduction. I want to say thank you for having me. It's an
Well,
honor. From the first time that we connected, I knew that we had work to do, right?
yes,
The
absolutely.
collaboration, I'm just super excited about it. And I heard you give a shout out to some of our Hope House homies that
Okay.
tuned in. Dr. Lanisha Connor is our behavioral health director for
Really?
Hope Enterprises. And
Okay.
then, you know, uh, Mia Han, who I sit on her board at the Whole Life Healing Center as the VP. And they do all sorts of things for women and children in the domestic abuse victim prevention area. So I'm just so honored to be here with you and thank you, Hope House homies, for tuning in.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Love to hear it, Dr. Lee. And thank you so much for joining us. This has been a much anticipated segment of What's Holding You Back and bringing you on board and having you share some of the great works in which you are doing throughout your community and abroad. So let's get into it. So, first, let us have a brief introduction of yourself and let us go back a little bit and tell us about your upbringing and what started you out on this journey. And before you start, if you're comfortable in saying so, I would love for you to share with the audience what you shared with me during our initial conversation about how things started off for you.
Absolutely. I have this thing that I say that my life is the message,
Yes.
right? So that we can, because point blank, period, nobody's here to save us.
Hmm.
It's going to take the community to band together.
Amen.
And the more comfortable we are with telling our truth, telling our story, whether it's pretty or not, it gives people permission and the freedom to be their authentic selves
Hmm.
and to, say it's okay. Purpose is not pretty. Purpose is not pretty. You can see all the pictures, all the fancy things that marketing and advertising does, but listen, it
Hmm.
take a lot,
It does.
it take a lot. So with that being said, I'm going to go back.
Okay.
Like you said, I- I'm one out of seven children.
Hmm.
I'm right smack in the middle. I have four older brothers and I have younger sisters, right?
Hmm.
My mother was from a poor town in Wauchula, Florida. I'm talking about as of 2023. I haven't checked the numbers for 2024. The median income for a family of four was less than 20,000. They still have dirt roads.
Mm.
Jobs are scarce. And you're talking about 40 some years later. So that's where my mother was from.
Hmm.
My father was from another small town outside of Atlanta, Noonan. Similar story, but he had climbed his ranks through the military, and she met him on an off night
Okay.
while she was married to her first husband, who was verbally abusive,
Hmm.
physically abusive, financially abusive. But that's all she knew
Hmm.
because her mother had endured that abuse. My mother was one out of several children who got passed from home to home to home because my grandmother didn't have the means, and she had so many kids that she had to divide and conquer.
Hmm.
So my mother endured a lot of abuse. She was raped, she was beaten, she was neglected, and then here we come, right? She gets married at a very young age to her first husband, like teenage.
Wow.
I'm like, how is this even allowed? How is this even allowed? How is this possible? In the South, they do things
Yeah, a
a little
little
different,
You're
especially
right.
back then, you know? So, she goes through her life uneducated,
Hmm.
unaware, unsure of herself, that's a confidence breaker, first of all, to go through that as a child, then get into a relationship with her first husband where he's like, this army man is going to save me. And to find out that you went from the skillet to the frying pan.
Mm.
But after 12 years, she decided to get out because she wanted more for her children. She had boys at the time. And then that's when she met my dad, who was meek and mild. You know, in his household where he grew up, you were not able to say, ask questions,
Wow.
express any opinions. My father barely knew his father. He could not recount or remember a hug, I'm proud of you, or you're doing great, son. And there was a lot of them.
Hmm.
So just to build the story of how this cycle came to be. So you have two people that come together that don't know social emotional intelligence, that don't know how to show affection, that don't know how to speak up for themselves. And now they have 7 children.
Hmm.
They have 7 children. So my mother just had that thing where she knew that she wanted more. So she said, you know what? I'm going to move out of this poor area. I'm going to leave my first husband because I have found someone that's going to treat me with respect. Because my daddy was awesome. Okay. My daddy was awesome. He was meek and mild. I never heard him say a curse word. I never heard him get out of his temper, but he was an absent, present father.
Hmm.
Okay. He was there, but I can't recall coming up. Conversations that we had, time that we spent because he worked. 7 kids.
Got
Listen, 7 kids. You better work.
yes, I'm
Okay,
telling
I
you.
have 6 of my own. I already know.
Right.
You know, so that time that I spent with my mother and my father, there is a lot of abuse emotionally, financially,
Hmm.
and physical because my mother repeated the behaviors that she learned from her mother, her grandmother, her
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
And but instead of being the the abusee, the victim, she became the abuser.
Wow.
She abused us. She
Mm.
abused my father. I didn't know that you could. I was like, "What? You put your hands on men? Like that's? I didn't even know that was a thing, you know."
Oh yeah.
But it
Oh
was
yeah.
normal for us. It was normal for us to see the dysfunction. But what
Okay.
she did not play about was education.
Okay.
Because let me tell you, if you'd have got something less than an A,
Mm.
you was getting your butt kicked.
All right.
So she held education at a high standard.
Amen for that.
And that was the beginning of me like, okay, education is important.
Yes.
Education matters.
Hmm.
But as she put us in areas where the children in the neighborhood did not look like us,
Okay.
all white neighborhoods, I was looking through my grade school pictures and I'm like, wow, it just makes a lot of sense why I had some of the unconscious biases that I had. I was the only black child
Right.
in school for a very long time.
Hmm.
And I saw that they had opportunities that we wouldn't have because we were magnet kids, right? My mother did the application and did the things to have our black family go into these affluent white schools.
Hmm.
But our income did not, we weren't wealthy. We were just making it.
Okay.
Barely. But we thank God for that. You know what I mean? But as I continue to grow up and see things, I made a decision that at 8th grade that I don't want to have any kids. I'm gonna be an entrepreneur because science says between 7 and 10, the core and essence of who you are is there.
Mm.
It's there by 10 years old. Your personality, who you are, that's what it's going to be, right?
Hmm.
You can add things, you can change things, but that core is there. So in 8th grade, I told my mama, I'm not going to have any kids because I'm going to be a serial entrepreneur. And these kids, they cost too much, they bad, they crazy. I'm not going to do it.
I hear
So
that.
I knew that God had a different plan. He had a
Mhm.
different plan because when I graduated early at 17 from
Come on.
Winter Park High School,
Hmm.
where I'm driving my 84 raggedy Chevrolet Spark, or it's not a Spark, what was it? They don't even make this no more, but it was blue with a red hood. I'm
Okay.
pulling parking lot with all my, colleague, my alumni. They have Lexuses, Mercedes, $1 million homes. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I didn't fit in, but God had me there for a purpose to
Amen.
show me that higher education should be accessible to all, regardless
Yes.
of income and where you come from, right? So I graduated early.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm popping out. I'm 17. I'm graduating early. I'm telling my mom I'm grown. I'm out of here. I'm grown. Graduate Wednesday.
Oh,
Okay, I move out Friday. I'm
ooh,
pregnant 6 months later.
come on. Here we go. Here we go.
I'm pregnant 6 months later. I'm like,
Talk about it.
God, like, what you mean? Like, I did
Mm-hmm.
all the things. I'm using protection. I'm, I'm on the depot shot. I'm like, how does this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And now I know how it happened because there is no social emotional intelligence training in my household. So
Mm-hmm.
when that older man that preyed upon me in high school that says, "Hey, I know you probably tired of being in your mom's and dad's house. I got a room for rent for you. $200.
Uh-oh.
That's it." I'm like, okay.
Uh-oh. You got
In the
one?
1900s, I can afford $200 now, honey.
Yeah.
That's easy. I could do that.
Where I sign up for
I
that?
didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that older man was preying on me. But so as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I got there, I felt obligated because the advances, and he would, I'm only charging you this much, but you're gonna, the game.
Right, right.
And
Yep.
I fell into that trap because there's no training. There is no, hey, watch out for this. It was just do what I say, don't do, and don't ask me no questions and hold your feelings. You better not cry because if you don't, I'm gonna beat you to the white meat. So we didn't ask
Right.
any questions. We didn't do none of that. So I was devastated, Rob. I was devastated because I had to talk with Jesus
Mm-hmm.
in 8th grade that I
Oh,
wasn't having no kids. So
right.
when I was in a deep depression for months. And then the partner that I was with didn't believe. He was not a man of faith.
Mm-hmm.
He threatened not to be with me or support me, and he told me I needed to get an abortion.
Uh-oh.
And just something in my spirit, because I did grow up in the church, even though I never attended church with my mother. She
Mm-hmm.
would kind of use church and Bible scriptures when she like wanted to scare the lights out of you,
Mm-hmm.
or when you made her upset. But I'd never really attended church service. My dad was the one that was just super not religious,
Right.
but he would always praise God and tell us about God. He done been in every religion,
Oh,
Jehovah Witness,
okay.
Kabbalah, everything. That was him. Okay,
Right, right.
okay. So said, you know what, God, you put me in this position. I don't believe anymore. I was an atheist for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I turned my back from God, saying, "There's no way that you could have me go from that to this,
Mm-hmm.
where I endure all those things all over again, and you didn't save me."
Hmm.
But my child, my firstborn, was the one that put the fire in my belly to do better. So
Okay.
right away, I started climbing the ladder. Went back to school. I got my degree. I started my first business at 21. Got my first real estate property at 18
Come
after
on.
100 no's.
Mm-hmm.
But I still was an atheist.
All right.
I said, God didn't do that. I did that
Mm-hmm.
until
Mm-hmm.
7 years later,
Come on.
my ex-husband said, listen, this ain't working. I never loved you. Never wanted to be with you. I want to be released. And it was like freedom. I was like, thank you, Lord. Like, I
Oh,
didn't say, Lord, kind of believe it at that time, but I'm like, I'm free, you
yes.
know?
Right.
But, he moved out the home, but he was still coming over to get his dinner
Okay.
and have his relations. We're all grown here on this chat. We know what relations
Right,
are.
right. Mm-hmm.
So I got pregnant again. By this
Okay.
time, we had 2 kids, a son
Ooh.
and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, we getting divorced. I was just, I'm not trying to do none of that. So you have to get an abortion. And I was like, no, something in my spirit. But I got the abortion. I went
Mm-hmm.
by myself.
Wow.
Got there, told the doctor I ain't want to do it no more. I woke up with no baby. Like, y'all just snatching babies out here with no permission? It
Uh,
was traumatic. It was traumatic. But everything God does for you is for a purpose.
best
Because
believe.
when I got home after having that abortion, after feeling devastated, after feeling void and empty and just so many emotions, when he got there at 6:30 asking for his dinner,
Mm-hmm.
I got a boldness of me. He came to charge at me, and I was like, no, I'm standing up today. And I got in his face.
Mm.
I was still scared though. I got my face, but then
Right,
when
right,
I said, "Oh, I done poked the bear." I ran into that bathroom,
right.
and he was trying to break that door down.
Mm-hmm.
And I said for the first time in 7 years, Jesus,
Mm.
help me, help me. And the light in the bathroom just went like zing. Just, I was like, what's going on? And at the same time, it felt like a presence was pushing me down to
Yes.
my knees.
Mm.
And then it lifted me back up.
Come
The
on.
banging had stopped. I opened the door and I looked the enemy right in the eye. I said, you know, are no longer welcome here. And that's when I gave my life back to God. I gave my life back to God that day.
Praise him right there.
Yes, yes. So that's when I started the healing,
Hmm.
learning about social emotional intelligence, learning how to control my emotions, learning how to spot narcissists, learning how to protect my energy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I started on that journey of just learning and education. And that business was really my first couple of business were on business development and personal development. I won't worry about no kids. Okay. Won't worry about that. I want to focus on the adults because they had the money to pay.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
before you go there, let's
Hmm.
go back a little bit. All right. So at what point did you come to the understanding that you were repeating the cycle that your parents had went through?
I didn't know it was a cycle until I had that touch from God. I didn't realize that there's nothing wrong because as children, you just do what you saw your parents do.
Right.
And my mother was very controlling at that time. We didn't know she was an undiagnosed bipolar schizophrenic woman.
Hmm.
That we thought was normal. Nobody in, nobody out. So we didn't have anything to compare it to. We
Hmm.
thought that's how every family was. We didn't know.
Right. Right.
But when I got into the world and started to ask questions and investigate,
Hmm.
I started saying, "Hey, your family don't do that. Oh, your husband don't beat on you. He don't curse you out. Like what? What's
Uh,
going on?"
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The first step is asking questions.
Hmm.
And but I think the second step is ask questions, but lean on your discernment, your intuition. When that thing in your gut says, "Hey, investigate that."
Hmm.
Ask a question about that. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention, right? So that's when I knew kind of things weren't right and the shift started to happen. And then I started to get in community with people
Hmm.
who were shown they were doing things that I inspired to do. Like they were in real estate, they were business owners. And it just so happened that everybody I had in contact with, they kept having kids and kids was gravitating towards me. And I was like, well, because probably because I'm a young mom. And I was, you met listen, I'm getting up there now. Could you imagine how it was looking when I was 20? Listen, they
Yeah.
they they thought I was a baby. They said, "Who baby? Who, your sister?" And I know this is my child.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
um, it was the calling. I answered the call. The call has always been to work with the youth,
Yeah.
and we see them now. They need hope more now than ever.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, would you say that that was the turning point in your life?
That was a turning point, but I had some obstacles along the way
No.
because therapy and when you don't submit to God and you don't find the community, you have to fill those holes by something. I was filling those holes with drugs and I
Mm.
became a very bad drug addict. Listen, I've been heavy my whole life, but during a time period in my life, I was 145 pounds. All you could see is clavicle and bones. And nobody in my circle said, hey, sis, like you don't went to from 250 to 145.
Ooh wee.
Nobody said nothing. Nobody in my family. I come from a big family, not my mother, not my father, not my best friend at the time. No one said anything. That's
Hmm.
why if I see something, I say something.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, sis, you all right?
Hmm.
Bro, King, you okay? And I wish someone had a checked in on me, but I realize now that I had to go through that 3 year struggle with drug addiction
Uh
to
huh.
get to where I am now to be a walking, living testimony because I didn't go to rehab.
Really?
I just called on Jesus.
Amen. That's the rehab
And he
doctor
took,
right there.
right, he just took that from me. You know what I mean? Like people, they see you and they say, wow, they're inspired. And I just want to say, no, I want you to see grace and mercy. Like it's not about me.
Right. Right.
it's not about me at all. Don't see me, see Jesus, see God, see the one that lifts you up. Because I don't deserve none of the credit. I just happen to say yes to the call.
Amen.
But I done been a liar, a cheater. I've been rich, I've been poor, I've been addicted to drugs, but I've also been redeemed. I've also been saved. And I also said yes to my calling and my purpose. And when I
Amen.
did that and submitted, that's when my life changed.
Yeah,
And I have a whole community of students, of hope dealers, and people like you that come in and be a bridge for generation next, because they are our future. They need it the most.
absolutely.
They lost.
Mm, mm.
I hear like Chris Brown with no guidance.
Yes, yes. Wow, what a
Yes.
very inspirational story that you shared with us.
Mhm.
And Dr. Lee, I'm just so happy that you allowed yourself to share that with the audience here and people in which you did not know. And that's why I was surprised when you shared that story with me in our first time communicating with one another. And it just inspired me and had me feel a great calling to want to share that message because we all go through things in life. And
Yes.
most times, most people are not willing to share those issues, to address those issues. They keep it stuck and hidden inside. And then they're wondering why they're not able to come out of that situation because they're not willing to talk about it. They keep it suppressed and it just eats them up inside and they keep on going in that downward spiral. But you sought out help from the Lord, one, but yes, and also in your community and asking questions like, is this normal
I guess.
or is this
Yeah.
just something different? And I'm just so glad that you have shared that time and moment with us.
Listen, I'm gonna get my tissue because what I didn't tell you in that testimony, I shared it with you during
Hmm.
our first time that I almost didn't make it because I tried to take my life twice.
Oh
And the
wow.
second time I was really, really close.
Mm,
Like I'm a walking miracle. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I just know that God has me here for a purpose. That purpose is loud and clear.
come on.
And one of our funders,
Hmm.
we're in a big funding period where, it takes costs to raise these kids.
Yes, it
You know what I
does.
mean? And when I say kids, I'm talking about kids. If you're a mentor, a youth community advocate, it takes money, resources.
Amen.
So I got an opportunity to get a lot of funding from one of our funders, but they said, I need you to triple your life insurance because
Hmm.
what you're doing for the youth, like literally snatching down generational curses, teaching children how to think for themselves and to define success in their own terms, and to break the prison, the school to prison pipeline, the school to
Mm,
debt pipeline. The
mm.
government's gonna be coming after you. So
You
I'm
don't
gonna give you
know?
this money. And I got scared. And I said, oh, maybe I don't want to do this.
Hmm.
But I think about all the children, especially on Snapchat, TikTok, that are suffering silently and they don't even know.
They don't.
He
They
said,
don't.
are you willing to die for this cause? And it stopped me in my track. And I am.
Mm,
If I have to be the sacrificial lamb so
mm.
that we can snatch down generational curses from our community so that we can have the same opportunities and prosper, I will. I gladly trade my life. And I
Mm.
mean that.
Yeah.
For my kids, my
Hmm.
kid, the legacy. No, somebody has to say enough is enough. You said enough is enough. I said enough is enough, and we are standing on it. And we're just going to keep the enemy pinned beneath our heels.
Hmm.
No vacancies. We ain't got no room for his mess, his trickery.
Mm.
He done. He out of here.
Yes.
We not having it.
Hmm. Wow.
Period.
Powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Yes. And that is so important, Dr. Lee, that we send the message out to our kids, the younger generations, to let them know that we are here for you, to inspire you, to enlighten you, to share with you, show you from our mistakes so that you won't have to go through those same things in which we did in coming up. But a lot of times, especially now, more than ever, the kids are so reluctant to listen to their elders. They want to find out for themselves. So they have to go out and touch that hot stove and get burned because the mom's
Yes.
already told you, don't touch it. It's hot. But you want to be hard headed and you want to find out for yourself. All right, so be it. But yes, I'm just glad that you are sharing this information and being very transparent, and it's going to open up a lot of eyes and give people a better perspective on things that we need to be sharing with our kids, our community, our loved ones, to empower them, to educate them, and to encourage them. That we all have a great purpose in our lives, but we have to find out what indeed our actual purpose is. So, what was that point in which you were able to identify your true purpose in life?
Man, it was just I kept busting my kneecap on the stairs. I kept sliding down the stairs. And then, the kids kept being in the mix. I was like, why I keep getting all these kids that they want? All
Mm,
these kids, all these organizations, and the pastor want me to come use his church for this program that I just really formed to keep
okay.
my 6 kids busy, called the Your Backyard Foundation, just
Great.
because I'm a strategic businessman. I said, we're gonna organize a group.
All
And then
right.
all the kids from the neighborhood and the pastor of that church, which the medium age of that church was 65,
Mm-hmm.
white, a
Mm,
hundred some plus thousand income. You know what I mean? They wasn't really. They was just like a gathering, But they
okay.
had a church. I mean, they had a school that wasn't being used, and they said, "Hey, I see you. What you do with all these kids? You need to move it out from the parking lot and come use the church down the street that we're not being used. We give it to you for free." Little did I know that this was so impactful and this was so divinely appointed that within 60 days, the kids had overrun the church.
Uh,
And he's like, "Can you do this for adult ministry?" I was like, no, I already got my business consulting thing that I'm doing. I'm already running this program before school, after school, on Sunday. Like I'm not trying to grow your adult ministry. But I
mm,
started to see how it changed the kids' life. Parents would write in, they would never come, Rob. They would never come to the church,
wow.
but they would send their kids on the field trip, send them to the before, after school, Sunday, everything. And they would write in and say, "I don't know what y'all doing over there at that church in that program. My kids are cleaning up without me asking them because we taught about social, responsibility. Self-care is the best care. When you have an uncluttered space, you have an uncluttered mind that you
Come on.
can use to be more creative and more. So, those were things that we were tying back to
Yeah.
Bible-based principles so
Yes.
that it was, that we would reenact plays and stuff, let them dress up, but also say, hey, this is an example of how you could be a leader at 8 years old. We
Mm,
were letting them know, I believe in you. You're not a bad kid. You have untamed, un, you know, organized energy. Let's organize that energy. What are you passionate about? What do you
right.
want to be when you grow up? Like we were pouring into them,
Mm,
and then they started to grow up as leaders and develop, and their parents took notice. And that was like, aha,
ah.
we on to something. Okay,
Yes.
we,
Yes.
we on to something. And
Here we go.
fast forward to today, now we have hundreds of students
Mm-hmm.
in Hope House University, which the foundational curriculum is the 7 areas of wellness,
Okay.
which is that occupational awareness. Like, what do you want to do for a career? Not just for money. What are you passionate about? If you do
Mm-hmm.
what you're passionate about, the money will come.
Mm,
Social responsibility. If you give back to the community and treat people how you want to treat others, how you want to be treated, guess what? That karma comes back to you.
yes,
So
it does.
don't be out here trying to play this girl, play that boy, all that stuff. Because you know what? Sex is not just sex, it's energy. We teach about soul ties.
No,
We teach about
you
relationships.
come on.
We teach about how to identify narcissists through our
Mm,
sexual education program with Dr. Canary.
wow.
We the first thing that they do before they start any lessons is, okay, who are you? Who's your purpose? Who's your path? You know what I'm saying? What are your triggers? What are your how can you cope? You have anger issues. Let's give you some strategies and how to tame that so it
Hmm.
doesn't interfere with your learning,
Okay.
right? Because you can't just stack stuff on it and act like it's not exist. Let's get to the root. So the first 13 weeks, we are unlearning, relearning, snatching down traumas, coping with grief, coping with loss, because a lot of our kids are underserved, underprivileged, overlooked, and they feel like they're not being seen or heard. So we said, we see you,
Mm.
Hope House University student. We see you and we love you and we believe in you. And it's been changing. It's been life changing for them. It's been life changing for me
Wow.
to see business students that are under 18 make six figures because they believe in themselves and they believe in their gift and they're working and they're taking courses to make that gift better and illuminate that.
Wow. Wonderful.
So,
That's wonderful. So let me uh, bring up your website on screen as you're talking about your school and your
yes.
Hope Enterprises and all of the things that you're doing over there. So as I scroll down the screen, can you tell us a little bit about what each program is that you are doing through your organization?
Let- Let's stop there right real quick. You are different. Go up. You are different. So are we.
Okay.
We are not in a cookie cutter society. We are, we are in a thing now, a trend where if you're not on the trend, we don't see you. We say, snatch that down. We rebuke that. We send that to the pits of hell. You are different. God made you different. It has been proven that your brain is just as different as your fingerprint.
Mm.
But yet, and in school and in the corporate setting, they want to treat you like a cookie cutter. They don't want you to think for yourself. So that's why our main motto is you are different, so are we. Okay. So when you go to the website, you'll get to learn about who we are, what we're passionate about, which are
Mhm.
three pillars of
Okay.
faith, is what we call three pillars of faith:
All right.
community, education, and affordable housing. Because if your housing situation is jacked up,
Woo.
oh
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about our team.
Okay.
We're looking for educators. We're looking for remote. We're a remote company. We're a high tech, high touch company.
Okay.
Our brick and mortar office is in Alpharetta, Georgia, but nobody goes there because our our programs and our platforms are online, right? Because that's where the world is headed. That is the trajectory, right? You
Hmm.
either join in or you get left out. We're not trying to get left out. We're trying to meet people where they are. So under meet the team.
Hmm.
If the what Rob and I talked about today moves you, go ahead, join our team. We're looking for educators that are passionate. It's not gonna make you rich, okay? It's not thing, because we're a nonprofit.
Okay.
Um, but we're gonna protect you. We're gonna protect our children. Shout out to our CTO, Caleb Felder, who is
Hmm.
on this live.
Yes.
They are stealing children's identities and stealing overseas. So
Wow.
before the child gets 18, beknownst to them, their credit is ruined.
Mm.
So he's protecting our children's data and their identities from pedophiles, hackers. It's
Hmm.
super important because they are being targeted.
Yes.
So the community building, free education, affordable housing. So the
Hmm.
Hope House community offers resources, access to financial coaching, to mental health resources, a free parent resource because we're tired. I don't know if you saw that post that I put in about Virginia, where
Was that?
hundreds of parents are turning over their preteens and teens because they tired. They out of control.
No,
Don't
I
don't
didn't see
turn
that.
them over.
Mm.
Don't
No,
turn them over.
no, I can't do that.
Come join the parent resource group. That it's free. It don't cost you nothing. You'll get some coping strategies. You'll have some language that to be
Hmm.
able to communicate and understand what they're facing. Because a lot of times when I talk to parents, they feel like, oh, their kids, they're not facing nothing. That is so far from the truth. They are
Hmm.
facing things that we have never encountered.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's atrocious the things that they slide in on the cartoons and on the social media and
Yeah.
on the things that make them feel like they not who they were called to be.
Hmm.
So, and then the HHU is for the young career creative. Hope House University, free education, doesn't cost you anything. It is
Okay.
an online remote charter with five concentrations: business, real estate, arts, tech, and science. So if you want to be a doctor, don't come to the school because we don't got a place for you.
Okay.
And then affordable housing with our tiny houses of hope community. our partnership with HUD. It's on 10 acres in Dahlonega, Georgia, where there be 10 to 14 tiny homes that they can come in on a 24-month program, a family of four, to learn how to depend on themselves and be
Hmm.
resilient. Because, like I said, nobody's here to save us.
Right.
And if we can learn how money works and our relationship to money and things like that, and just how emotions and things science, and we could be a better community. So that's what
Absolutely.
this movement is about: is hope, helping others pursue elevation in all areas of life.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Excellent, Dr. Lee. I love it so much. And I really want to be a part of it and support in any way in which we can. And I hope and pray that our listening and viewing audience will do so as well. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, that is her website, which is morehopenow.com. So please
Yes.
go over to the website and they can make donations over there.
Yes, you know what? Take a lot, take a village. So be a part of this village.
Hmm.
We want you. If $7. That's all we asking. Send your
Okay,
seed at $7. That's it.
I can do that.
It's that part.
Yeah, I
Thank
can do
you. Thank
that.
you in advance.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So,
We can all do that. Yeah, and then some. So
mhm.
yeah, great to hear. And yeah, you love to be a part of what you're doing, and it's really a great look for what you're doing for the community. So, what is the age group for the kids in which you are teaching?
7 to 17.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're not trying to teach them how to read. We want them to come in already learning how to read because literacy is a big problem in our community.
Hmm.
We have literacy partners for our students that are struggling in the area to strengthen that, but we would like them to have the basics of being able to read to set them up for success because it is an online school. So
Oh,
if they are having trouble reading, then this program will be difficult for them. But
okay.
we don't have any A B C D E F G. It's, do you get the concept or don't you?
Right, right.
Because you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how we want to grade and label it's a confidence confidence destroyer. Like, oh, you might be a bad test taker, but you know all your stuff, you comprehend it, but you
Hmm.
have anxiety, and every child have anxiety now. It's crazy. They got so much anxiety now. I don't know what it is. Probably
Hmm.
because we stopped beating them. No, just joking. Um,
That's a part of it. Yeah.
right, spare the rod, spoil the child. You know
Come
what?
on,
They
talk
beat
to
the
me.
anxiety out of us back in the day. Okay, kids ain't
Yeah,
getting whipping no more.
we're gonna stop all of that right now. Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have your
That's
come
what
to Jesus
happened.
moment.
Yeah, so they just have to pass their competencies with the 80% or more. If you with 80%, you got it. You're moving on to the next thing. And it's
Yes.
self-paced. Like, what is it? People are some are fast learners, some are slow learners.
Hmm.
So no, we're not saying, hey, you got to do fast like everybody else. Go at your pace. Define success on your own terms. You
Okay.
know what I mean? You just had a week to get, which is reasonable enough time to get your courses for that week done.
Hmm.
If you have any questions, your teacher is there, your educator is there to help you with one-on-one instruction, which doesn't happen anymore. Because I don't know if you heard about all the schools closing down, and they're taking those schools, especially in the underserved areas, where class counts is up to 50 children to one teacher.
Wow.
Oh Lord, she
Yeah.
about to quit tomorrow.
Right.
So yeah, no. So it's an intimate approach to learning.
Hmm.
It's individually customized based on how they learn, the best time to learn, and what they're passionate about, what their God-given gift and talent is, so that they can thrive. And
Right.
then, learn them how to love on themselves and people and the planet so that they can be better citizens, better children of God.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just that simple. It's not
And,
rocket science.
and your schooling program, they emphasize learning more about being business minded and leadership qualities as well. Correct.
Absolutely. You are the CEO of your own life. And we teach every child, regardless of what specialty that
Hmm.
they're in, that you are the problem and the solution. Pick a side, make a decision, and run with your light.
Mm. Wow.
It's and some adults need to hear that message
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
age is nothing but a number. You can
Right.
grow old, but guess what? You might be stuck
Hmm.
in 1900s when you was in high school
That's right. Yep.
because of that breakup that hurt your heart, that
Hmm.
mistake that you made. You went up in age, but your mindset didn't grow.
There you go. Man, that's it right there. So, being that you offer online courses, do you take kids
Mhm.
nationwide?
Nationwide. We have a hub out of the University of South Africa. I
Wow.
was able to secure that partnership when I went to do my TED talk and being nosy and talking to people and stuff. Talking to them about the education system, thinking that it was just a US thing, it's a global thing.
That's beautiful.
Our students in Asia, we have students in Asia that are
Wow.
facing that. We have students in India that's facing the same thing where the education system is not imploring them to think bigger
Right.
and be greater.
Hmm.
Greater is he, right? So come on now. We be on here for 5 days. Don't get me started.
Yeah. 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 So, family, we have to support what Dr. Lee is doing through her organization. This is a great works, and we're going to ask you to touch upon the housing asset, the housing program that you have as well, a little more. So, go a little deeper into that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I don't know if you can relate to this as a man. Okay,
Hmm.
we're told that the men are the providers. They bring home the bacon, right?
Hmm.
If that man, studies have shown that if that man feels like he cannot financially provide for his family,
Hmm.
that it affects the entire family structure.
Of course.
And there is research and numbers that support that evidence.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for not just men and women, or children, but communities that maybe they came from an area where they have limited beliefs of where they can go financially.
Hmm.
And they say, you know what? I'm from the hood. My mama was from the hood. My grandma from the hood. We all been on Section 8. We just gonna do whatever. We just gonna get by coast. No, come over here. Come apply to this program. Let me show you that you are valuable, that you are worthy, and that you could do anything that you put your mindset to. There's only two ways to do it. You spend less or
Hmm.
you make more.
Come on.
And if you understand the value of money and how money works, and that you can work smarter, not harder, then you could do both. That you don't need the 3,000 square foot house. You
Mm.
don't need the Benz. You don't need the three cars.
Nope.
You don't need the labels.
Nope.
I don't do labels. I can afford to do labels, but I don't. For what purpose? I'd rather buy a stock or a bond.
There you go. Come on.
I'd rather invest into my community. What a label for?
Hmm.
I purposely have one vehicle that my whole entire household shares because unless I'm gonna have a collectible, it's a liability.
That's right.
And in Atlanta, Georgia, the emissions, this insurance is too darn high, and I refuse to give more money to the bank than I have to
Yes.
because I'm building generational wealth. So that's all it is. It's a program to snatch down those old belief systems
Yep.
that limit people from their potential, that
Yes.
shows them how to flip their money and use it wisely and to focus and put their dollars where it matters and their time where it matters. So
Mm.
by the 24 months, they don't pay any rent or anything like that. HUD supplies that for them. The
Hmm.
condition is they attend their group sessions, they meet with their financial and behavioral health coaches, they do the work, they do their community service because it's about giving back. You can't receive with a closed fist.
Come on.
So they can't come in this program thinking, oh, I'm gonna get free rent for 24 months and I'm gonna be set and then I have an opportunity to buy this tiny house if I want to at the end of this. No, you gotta get in there served because life gives to the giver and
Yes.
takes from the taker.
Yep. Sure does.
So yeah, it's a 360 approach.
All right.
And it's
Love it.
amazing. I'm super excited. Shout out to our architects, our general manager, our general contractor, our realtor, our real estate team, just everybody that has just really dug in, rolled up their sleeves and said, you know what, I'm in. So I thank
Mhm.
everybody for their yes. I'm just so humbled by
Yes.
the people, by you just saying yes to this.
Excellent. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, Dr. Lee, final question as we are way over time for this segment, but I didn't, no way we're going to cut this short because I know you have so much to share and the information is vital to our upliftment in our empowerment. So the final question. So what is your vision for the future and what are you looking to do in going forward?
Yes, our vision is to make an impact one household, one child, one mother, one father, one community at a time.
Hmm.
For hundreds of years, our Black and brown community, we have been underserved,
Yes.
underprivileged, overlooked, and I'm tired. I'm tired of the excuses. I am tired of the limited beliefs, but you don't know better unless you do better,
That's right.
right? So we're imparting the knowledge for the community, and we are giving them resources so that they can be successful. Because I hate when you're like, oh, all these gatekeepers, like, oh, I can all these you could do all this, but tell me how. But for only $997, what? Okay, who are you targeting?
Right. Right.
What underserved community has 997 to buy your program today to get out of the pits of hell? Like,
Exactly.
so this knowledge and this education is free. So our vision is to continue to
Hmm.
provide free education for parents, children, the grandparents, the community, the teachers, so that we can all live the life that we created and designed to live.
Yes.
So that's the mission, that's the vision. And I see us being not just in Africa and Asia. I see us all, this is a global impact. We have shout out to the 12 new partners in Hope that are going through orientation right now.
Wow.
We're 32. We have our team of 32 now. So we're growing, we're expanding, and God's making a way. Every time we got to run payroll, I'm like, how you going to do it? And he show up. He just does it.
Won't he do it?
Listen,
Mm.
won't he do it?
Every time. Every time. Wow. Dr. Lee, I am so proud of you, your organization, and all of the wonderful things in which you're doing. It is a great accomplishment and a testament to the very passionate woman that you are in helping our children in our communities. And as you can see on the screen there, Tina's asking a question there. And I want to make a connection with you two young ladies, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, she does a lot of the same things in which you're doing. So,
Can I answer it really quick in like 15 seconds?
yes.
So Tina, hey Queen Tina, thank you so much for all that you do as a community leader. They don't have to have devices. There is funding and opportunities for our children who cannot afford them that they will get them. They don't have to pay for these devices. So to answer your questions, they don't need to have a device. You will provide those for the ones that cannot afford.
Wow. Awesome. 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 So, yes. All right, T. So, there you have it. So, yes, once we finish this broadcast, stay on, Dr. Lee. We want to talk behind the scenes. Do you have time, Dr. Lee?
Absolutely. I always
Okay.
have time for you. We locked in. You my
We there.
brother from
Come on, talk about it. All right. So yes, we're going to continue our conversation. I'm going to hopefully make the connection with you and Tina Thomas so that you ladies can talk further on this and the different things in which you're doing. And hopefully you can make collaborate, and it's going to be a very powerful and impactful relationship between you two and anyone else that comes on board. All right. So we just have one more. Teach your dollars to make sense. Yes, love that. Absolutely. Love
Yeah,
it,
that's
love
our
it, love it.
CTO. That's our
All right.
CTO. We love him. We appreciate him.
Absolutely.
Listen.
Absolutely. So yes, Dr. Lee, any final words before we close off for this evening?
No, I just ask everyone to just continue to pray for Hope Enterprises, our students, the parents. We are under attack because what we're doing is kingdom building, and anything that's going to build up the kingdom, you are just like a moving target. So, but you know what? We see the attacks, we pray against them. Before the first day of school, because we're January 3rd to October 3rd, we're at year-round school. We got on
Okay.
a prayer call, and
Mhm.
Dr. Kiana Dancy got on there and prayed the devil's loose. And
Ooh.
so it was a successful launch. We were super excited. And, not that it didn't have its challenges, but you know what? Nothing that we can't do because we have a community. It's not, if I had to do all by myself, then we'd be shaky, right?
Mhm.
But no, the community is here. They've showed up, showed out. And I just want to thank you again, you and your audience, for just letting us come and share this space with you today.
Wow. Love it so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for sharing all of the wonderful things in which you're doing. You have been a great inspiration to us all, and we continue to pray for your continued success and greater works within the community and for our children. So, with that being said, I'm going to close off this segment for this evening. But I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us and being a part of the discussion. And please be sure to reach out to Dr. Lee and make a connection. Uh, there's her Facebook page there at the bottom of the screen. Also, her Instagram is The Real Hope Doc. So please make a connection with Dr. Lee. She is a very inspirational and passionate woman that is for the betterment of our people in our communities. So, once again, thank you so much, Dr. Lee, and we greatly appreciate you coming on board on this segment of What's Holding You Back. So, on behalf of Dr. Lee, Dr. Tahira Lee, my name is Rob McCray from the Business Building Network, and of course, my wonderful co host, Christine Allen, who is unfortunately not able to attend this evening, but she is watching in the background, and she is none other than Christine Allen. So please, if you have not already done so, please subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. Dr. Lee, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, so it's under Hope Enterprises. Let me tell you, I'm not fancy like you with the YouTube. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, yeah, whatever. But yes, check her out on YouTube as well. And subscribe to her channel. Christine Allen's YouTube channel is Clear Ambitions, and my YouTube channel is Rob McCray Networking. So we thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast, and we look forward to seeing you next week right here at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of What's Holding You Back.
What's holding you back? Holding you back from touching the sky. What's holding you back? You gotta fly like an eagle and go high. What's holding you back? Holding you back from touching the sky. Oh, holding you back. You finally gotta reach for the sky.